We invested over $115,000 last year in mentorship alone. The real question is, was it worth it? Hey guys, this is Brian Zabierek, twin number 2 of the Zab twins. I wanted to take some time here to share my experience with the investments that we made last year and the impact that it brought in our business. Before I dive into things, make sure you hit the button below, hit subscribe, and thank you for those that are coming back and watching the videos. So, was it worth it? Was investing $115,000 in mentorship in 2021 worth it for our business? The average household income in the United States is $65,000, and that's a household income. That's not even individual income, meaning $115,000 is literally 2 years of an average household income. And we were able to invest that last year, and we were in a position to do that. Now, I want to make sure that you guys know that this is not something everyone has to do. This is something that we did because we were very aggressive in our approach with achieving our business goals. But today, what I wanted to do is break down, was it worth it? And I wanted to break down why we took this approach in the first place, and if we're going to continue doing this moving forward. In 2020, we did an average business income across all of our businesses of just over $1 million. In 2021, we surpassed $3 million. What does that mean? The $115,000 that we invested, we were able to increase our growth by over $2 million. So let me ask you, if you were to invest $115,000 and walk away with over $2 million, would you say it's worth it? Cool, guys. So first of all, what I wanted to do is really just break down the types of mentors that you can seek, because there's a lot and it really depends on your position. But in my opinion, I'll break this down into 4 different types of mentors. Number 1 are coaches and programs. So these are, essentially something where you're tapping more so into a team as opposed to directly working with somebody in most scenarios. Coaches and programs are more so on-demand trainings. They provide group coaching support in some capacity, and that puts you in a position where you're working with like-minded individuals and you're tapping directly into strategies to implement or grow your business in some capacity. Your next type of mentor, in my opinion, is a business mentor, someone that has a realm of business experience where you can go ahead and just talk general business and not specifically about actually what to do in this scenario for this specific business, but more so, how would I approach this and get your thought process challenged by somebody that has just been in the game for much longer. Your next would be a consultant. So we have brought in a couple consultants in last year, specifically in departments within our business. To put this into perspective, we brought a consultant in to help us with our operations that essentially looked over our entire infrastructures to see what we can do to automate, delegate, and actually go ahead and eliminate at the end of the day so that we can essentially keep our business a little bit more lean. That's just an example, but consultants, to give you a more high-level definitions, are more so people that will overlook things and help you implement strategies, but more often than not aren't actually doing the work. They're challenging you and they're consulting on the business and giving you strategies that you can implement that you can do yourself. And the last are more so life mentors. So something that I realized last year specifically is we were very consumed with, investing into consultants, business mentor, coaches and programs because we wanted to grow our business. But as that grew, as that started to be a little bit more consistent for us, we realized there was a lot more to building a business that isn't just strategy. There's so much more to life that you need to realize. So we started to work with high performance coaches. We started to work with spiritual mentors, things along those lines, because when you start to evolve in your business and you start to become a CEO, it's all about making high-level decisions that will move your business forward every single day. In order to make those high-level decisions, you need to make sure that you have the clearest mind so that those decisions that you make are always impacting the business in a positive way. So now that you guys understand the 4 different levels of mentors that we've worked with personally, and I'm sure there's a ton of different other mentors or sayings of different types of mentors out there, but I wanted to kind of break down when we actually go ahead and decide to work with one in the first place. Again, we were in some crazy growth mode last year, tripling our sales across our businesses, which was awesome. It was a great feeling by all means. But with insane growth also came bottlenecks, things that you didn't necessarily plan, things that came up that you needed to quickly adapt to. So the main reason that we will bring in a consultant, a coach, a mentor of some capacity is actually because of a bottleneck of some sort. So I look at entrepreneurship as peaks and valleys. Even more so, I look at those peaks as growth mode, and then I look at those valleys as building mode. So in business and in life in general, realistically, when you're going down a valley, you're most likely in building. It's because something is broken. Something needs to change because it's no longer working. So you need to figure out what you need to build in order to continuously grow. Okay, so understand, when you're seeing some form of dip in your sales, you're seeing some form of dip in the performance of your business, it's likely due to a bottleneck that you may not see. You may see it as well, but doing a reflection, making sure that you're analyzing what's working and what's not working, and making sure that you're getting a return on investment on all of the activities that you're putting within your business will help you understand if there's bottlenecks that you can actually go ahead and hire someone to actually help you get out of that bottleneck. And the other portion of why we'll bring in some form of mentor is to what I like to call level up. I look at my life as a game. It makes it a lot more fun when you can gamify your life and create new levels for things. So like I had mentioned before, we started to work with a high performance coach. We started to work with more of a spiritual mentor, but that was only after we got our business to a point where it was consistently growing. It was in growth mode. And at that point, we're like, we need to level up outside of the business realm, and more so in our personality, the way that we present ourselves, our leadership ability. All of these different things are all things that directly correlate to impacting the business in a positive way. When you start to grow throughout the journey of entrepreneurship and you start being less consumed within the business and you're more so working on top of the business as a CEO, like I had mentioned before, making those high-level decisions are imperative. So what can you do in order to prime that mind faster, sooner, so that you can go ahead and make higher level, bigger impact decisions? And it's simple. Hire a mentor that has gone through that specializes in a specific area that you're looking for, okay? And bring them into the picture to see how they can help you level up. Now, why did we hire mentors in the first place? Obviously, bottlenecks, obviously because we wanted to level up. But I want to bucket this into 4 specific areas. Number 1, fast-tracking growth. Realistically, you are paying your way to increase your business and your life in some capacities through a faster route. And that's hiring a mentor, because typically hiring a mentor of some capacity, they are most likely in the position where you want to go. What does that mean? They've already gone through those stages in life, the stages in their business, their journey of getting to that point where you want to go. They can very much so go ahead and teach you to not make the mistakes that you're most likely going to make. And also, they're also going to allow you to adopt the strategies that they've implemented already, that they have known to be proven to work within the industry that has gotten them to that point that you want to go. Okay? The biggest thing, in my opinion, there is the fact that you're going to be able to learn from their mistakes. When we're talking about investing up front, obviously there's a cost associated to that, but looking at that as an investment, if I can mitigate, let's say $5,000 worth of mistakes, and the initial investment was $10,000, I already know that I'm saving $5,000 right there. Okay? Not only that, but it'll also increase my business sooner than later, meaning I'll get an ROI on it sooner. Point number 2, when you associate a dollar figure, a monetary value, to something, there's this psychology that happens within you where you feel the need to do better. Okay? When there's this underlying thought of $10,000 that you've invested, you're going to work so much harder. And trust me when I say this, to make sure that you get a return on that $10,000, because you're going to ask yourself, you're going to question yourself, was it worth it? Was that $10,000 investment worth it in the first place? So when you start putting a dollar figure in front of it, you will, naturally speaking, actually work harder to get to that goal sooner. So again, it goes back to fast tracking that growth, but making sure that that dollar figure is looked upon as an investment, and you want to make sure that you're getting that investment sooner than later, which leads me to my next point. Sometimes, realistically, you can hire somebody and you won't get a return on your investment. But I think it's very, very important to note that, yes, a return on investment can very much so be turning $5,000 into $10,000, making more money, essentially, than what you put into initially. But sometimes it isn't always going to happen. It's not a perfect world. in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to go through failures. And those are some mistakes that we've made in the past. But having a positive mental attitude always, and just making sure, okay, that you're walking away with at least one thing from that experience that you can take into every single one of your businesses, every single part of your life in the future, will allow you to give you some form of peace of mind that even though you didn't make $10,000 back on your $10,000 investment, you took away a skill, a piece of a tool that you can put into your tool belt that you can leverage in the future. And the last point, number 4, is the fact that you're going ahead and now you're putting yourself in a position where you're surrounding yourself with other like-minded individuals. That first the first type of mentorship that I mentioned was coaches and programs. You're typically going into, masterminds, events, you're working in a group capacity, and you get to harness the power of other individuals. And when you put very like-minded people in your circle around you, you're collaborating on ideas, it releases this superpower that's uncontrollable. So you get to put yourself in a position where you're now building a network, and maybe that network, somebody is in finance. Maybe that network, somebody's in operations. Maybe that network, someone's in e-commerce. Maybe one day you get to leverage every single one of those people. So again, talking about a tool belt, you're building out this network of people, different tools, different skills that you can now leverage that will help you within your business in the future as well. There's a saying out there that says the 5 people you surround yourself with essentially makes up your income. So if you think about it like that, and you're investing into a mentor and you're surrounding yourself with that mentor now has other people that you get associated with. Putting yourself in that position, you will, naturally speaking, just literally comes as second nature. You're always going to grow in some capacity. You're always going to want more. You're always going to be hungry. You're always going to be inspired and motivated by these other individuals. Now I want to talk about where I actually go ahead and find mentors. Okay, this should be a very, very diligent process. More often than not, I'm working with people that I already know were worked with of other people within my network. In other words, a referral. Okay, what does that allow me to do? Again, if we're talking about hiring a mentor to fast track growth, why not learn from another person in my network that has already worked with this person? I've already seen the results that they've been able to produce. Why can't I directly tap into that person now and get the same results? Okay, so referrals is my number one source of where I can actually find a mentor to help me get out of that bottleneck, to help me go ahead and level up in my life. On top of that, I love to follow people's journeys. There's a couple mentors that I worked with last year that it took me over 6 months to actually work with them. And what I did in that process of that 6 months was follow them. I wanted to follow them on social media, see what they're posting, see what kind of results that they're getting. I wanted to make sure that I was getting value on the front end before actually committing and putting that investment up front with them. I wanted to make sure that it was a smart business decision for myself. This, if done right, will allow you to make sure that you are getting a return on investment on it. At the end of the day, again, doesn't necessarily need to be monetary, but if we're talking about a monetary return on investment, if you do your due diligence in hiring the right mentor for the right reason, you will go ahead and actually get that return on your investment. One of the biggest things when it comes to hiring a mentor, I think, is very, very important to make sure that they align with your values. So always ask yourself, does this person actually align with my values? Or does this person just want my money for the sake of making money? Okay, I think that's one of the biggest things for myself. One of my biggest values is family, and my other big value is personal and peer development. So I'm always asking myself, does this mentor genuinely want to see me succeed? Do they care more about making money on the front end with me? Or do they care about my growth, and do they want to be a part of my journey? If you can find someone like that, they will be interested and they will be committed to working with you until you get out of that bottleneck, until you level up in your life. So in the realm of things now, all of the points that I've brought to your attention, you can see that it is so much more than just an investment. You're really growing in so many different areas. You're growing your network. You're building your skill set. You're building this tool belt of things that you can use for the rest of your life. You're increasing your revenue. You're adopting new strategies. All of these things can be taught and passed along to other individuals as well, which again, one of my values is peer development. So the fact that I'm going to be able to walk away with things that I can now teach to other people where they can see value in it as well, it's a win-win scenario in my opinion. So if you guys saw value in this YouTube video, go ahead one more time, hit the subscribe button below. Make sure you like this, turn on the notifications above, and stay tuned for weekly YouTube videos from us, the Zap Twins.